Welcome to another Thaiger story. Now, today we're talking to one of our own, Jet Gunther, who joined the Thaiger late last year as one of our new reporters. But he had to disappear for around about 10 days, and today we're going to find out exactly where he went. Jet, you went to a meditation retreat.
Yes, a silent meditation retreat. So that means I was on an internet coma for 10 days, complete silence. Wasn't allowed to talk to anyone and wasn't allowed to use my phone. And the itinerary each day basically consisted of just meditating, food break, meditate, food break, meditate.
Okay. So when you had the food break, did you do it with other people who were there?
Yes, so there was a cafeteria, but we were not supposed to face each other, so we had our own corners. And so we just quietly took our food and sat at our corners and mindfully ate our meals.
It didn't talk to anybody?
No, unless we had like specific questions to the actual, the head monk that was leading the meditation session. So you'd have like a brief private session with him to ask some questions. But apart from that, you're not supposed to make any comments or talk to anyone at all.
I can't imagine you not wanting to talk for 10 days.
Yeah, I mean, it's a jarring thing, right? Because it really takes out all the noise and all the things that are going on in your head, because it's really a time for you to look inward, self-reflection. That was like the purpose of the meditation retreat there. So it gave you this environment to be able to do all this inner work.
So what's the sales pitch? Why do people go there? What are they looking for?
Right. I mean, you don't necessarily need to be looking for something specific. I mean, like, it's meditation, I think, for people that have done it, is a great tool for self-examination, for really figuring out what's going on in your subconscious mind. And maybe, I mean, if you have past traumas, then you can definitely figure those out too. But if you just want to explore yourself, like what motivates you, what drives you, maybe let's say you have certain insecurities or success barriers that you think are kind of getting in the way of your career. Like, for example, let's say I have anxiety around being in front of the camera. Then it's an opportunity to figure out like why, like what am I afraid of, or what happened in my childhood that was affecting my self-esteem or confidence and all like that. So it's a good time to reflect and, figure out, yourself.
Well, so what were you going in there for? What were your demons that you were trying to address? Come on.
I mean, I don't think it's important that, like, it's not really my story, but I think what's important is that it's great if you have anything that you want to work through. Like, I guess for me, it was two main reasons. One is I recently had a breakup from a relationship, so I was upset with that, and that was kind of a emotional event. But also, like, with this past year with COVID, I've had to do a lot of self-examination in terms of my career, make career changes and figure out what my strengths are and what's holding me back, and to move forward into 2021. So it was kind of twofold, to like get my confidence together and to prioritize on what I want to do from here on. Yeah.
So is this based on Buddhist principles, or what is the background of this organization that held these?
Great question, because that's probably a common question. So what it's called is Dharma, and Dharma is the philosophy of life as taught by the Buddha himself. And the reason why I say it's a great question is because it's what the Buddha himself talked about during his life. And then obviously as he passed away, there was Buddhism, the organized religion, and all the practices and the rituals surrounding it onwards. So that's Buddhism. But with this, it's I would call it more of a method for self-examination and a tool for really digging into your subconscious and maybe reprogramming yourself. So it's more of a technique rather than a religion. I mean, you actually don't need to be a Buddhist to go. You got people from all religions going.
So what do you think about for 24 hours a day? What is going through your head? My mind would be racing, mostly thinking about, why am I wasting my time doing this? But what was going through your mind?
Well, the thing is, after 10 days, you realize that you were not wasting your time. It was actually time, for me at least, was time very well spent. It was one of the most transformative and most insightful things I've ever done. but thoughts racing in your head, of course, the first few days, especially the first and second day, will be probably the most jarring, especially for someone nowadays who's running about work and social media all the time. So yeah, but you also realize that once everything quiets down, you start to realize how bombarded you are each day with things that may not necessarily be good for you, or they may be distractions, or they may be good. And it's a good time for you to be selective. Like for me, coming back after turning on my phone and getting back on the internet again, and with meeting people again, I'm more aware of the types of inputs that come into my life, and whether they're useful or they're just kind of distractions. Yeah.
So after it was 10 days.
10 days.
Yeah. So after that, what have you sort of come back with? What tools do you think you are calmer? Have you changed things in your lifestyle? Have you decided to turn your phone off?
Well, I think right now is a bit too soon to tell in terms of long-term effects, but definitely a lot calmer, very much aware of what's been driving me. I can actually tell you what we actually did, what the itinerary was for 10 days, because each day actually was different. If you want me to just go through that. Okay, so Dharma...
How long have we got? Okay. See
how
you go.
I mean, they can turn it off if they're not interested. Yeah. So I'll just tell you as briefly as possible about Dharma, like path to enlightenment, how the Buddha teaches it. So Buddha, basically, his philosophy is centered around the elimination of suffering, right? Alleviate suffering. And his theory, his approach is that suffering is caused by attachments, right? So you're doing inner work to be more aware of what you're attached to, whether it's now attachments are twofold. It's either cravings or aversions, but they're two sides of the same coin, which is you want the world to be a certain way, and it's not, and that disconnect is causing you suffering, whether you feel like you're lacking something or you have something that you want to get rid of. And that disconnect between your expectations and reality is a cause of suffering. And this approach that he teaches here, that they teach at a 10-day program, is an approach towards dealing with your attachments. It's not, I wouldn't say you've completely removed the attachments and you're just a blank slate, but it's a way to tone it down and come to terms with it.
Are there group meditations?
Yes, group meditation. So the first thing you do when you go there, so this is like the first building block to Dharma, which is sila, which is upholding restraint, so refraining from killing, from stealing, from lying, from consuming alcohol or sexual misconduct. So this is meant to purify the mind first, to prep yourself, so get rid of things that could be big, major cravings or causes of suffering. You go into that. So you have this, so you maintain the silas while you're there. And the second thing is what we did the first 3 days is called, the next step is developing concentration. And you do this with meditation, where you concentrate on your breath. You focus on your breath because you're trying to center your mind's attention to one part of the body. And so you're trying to sharpen your awareness in order for the next 7 days, you're digging deep into your subconscious. And so in day 4 onwards, you're doing what's called Vipassana meditation. And Vipassana meditation is actually Buddha's contribution to the world. So it's a way of, so once you've sharpened your awareness using the breath work, you then shift your awareness up and down your body, from head to toe, toe to head, the entire time, to be aware of various sensations in your body. And you'll find that you're going to come across sensations that are soothing, that you like, that are pleasant, and also sensations that are unpleasant, that you don't want to be there. So it's almost like a sandbox exercise for you being aware of the sensations that you feel in your body, and instead of reacting, whether like clinging onto them, whether I like this soothing sensation or this uncomfortable sensation, you try to remain in the middle path, so that it's called cultivating a state of equanimity. So whatever external inputs come to you, you don't react so strongly to them. You remain centered. And another reason another thing that you realize when you do body awareness is you also realize that the sensations that you feel in your body, and when you meditate all day, you'll know this, is that they come and they go. And that's another important concept in Buddhism, which is impermanence. So you get to internalize the fact that whatever sensations that arise, whether good or bad, they will pass. So there's no point to be so attached to them. So Vipassana meditation, the training, as you will, is twofold. Is one, cultivating a state of equanimity so that in life, you're not swayed around by the volatilities in life, the stressors and everything. So you cultivate a state of equanimity, and you internalize the fact that everything in the world is impermanent and ever-changing, ever-constant. So therefore, it's not really productive to attach yourself to anything. But that being said, exactly because things are impermanent, you appreciate the present moment that much more too. So that's like my, as quick as possible, gist of the whole meditation retreat.
So, a few specific questions.
Yes.
When it comes time to
that was long.
When it comes time to food, does somebody go, "Hey, it's food time," or do they just go? Is it like sort of a game of charades?
Great question. So you're given a schedule for the day, right?
And you just turn up,
and the bell rings for each hour.
Okay.
So you know, okay, obviously you don't have internet, but you have a clock. So okay, noon time, the bell rung. Okay, time for
so you
lunch.
just turn up and just sort of nod politely at each other.
You're not even supposed to look at each other.
Oh my God!
You're supposed to treat the entire experience.
Yes.
They say this as if it's just you.
Okay.
So you show up and there's literally food there for you to take.
Yep.
And sit down and eat.
Was the food okay?
The food was fantastic.
Vegetarian?
Vegetarian.
Yep.
I was actually surprised by how great the vegetarian food was. It was so well prepared. I'm surprised they don't have more of this, like in just Bangkok, whatever. I'd eat it more. It was very healthy, very wholesome too.
Good. How much did it cost?
Zero. Completely free.
It's free.
Free.
Who runs it?
So it's an organization called Dhamma.org. So the website is Dhamma.org if you want to link to that. So we'll link to that. So it's it focuses on the teachings of the Buddha himself. So it's not necessarily Buddhism, and it was made popular by this teacher, this Indian Burmese teacher named S.N. Goenka. So at the retreat, there would be the monks there that would guide you, but they would turn on recordings by Goenka, and he would guide you through, give you instructions on how to do the meditation.
In Thai?
So Goenka teaches in English.
Okay.
So there's two courses. So the courses, there's centers all around the world.
Right.
And they're all held in English as well as that local language. And I signed on for the Thai one just because it was available. I could have done either. Yeah.
Right. Where is it?
So there's different places across Thailand. The one I went to is in Phitsanulok, which is 5 to 6 hour drive up north
between Bangkok and Chiang Mai.
Between Bangkok and Chiang Mai. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a secluded area in surrounded by these mountains, very quiet, very peaceful. At night you see like a sky full of stars. It was really, really great place to do it.
The accommodation is basic but comfortable, or?
Yeah, you said it. Basic, simple, comfortable. You're given a very simple bed and blankets. There's hot water. Obviously no internet, no air conditioning, but that was not a problem because it was actually really cold. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, welcome back.
Thank you.
Be interesting to see how things sort of go for you in the next couple of months, to see what you sort of brought forward from the experience and what you apply to your daily life.
Yeah.
At the moment you seem as noisy and as talkative as usual.
I'm just living in the moment, Tim.
Okay.
I think the challenge, or I guess you can say the challenge is that I do realize after doing this that I do react to external inputs around me, whether I'm attached to them in the form of craving or I'm repulsed by it. So I'm I react to things around me. So one of the things for me is to remain, in more centered, despite all whatever's going to happen in life, and just live each moment as best as possible.
All right. Well, look, thank you for sharing that moment with us and your experience over those 10 days. People wondering, where's Jet? Well, that's where you were.
Yeah, it was really, and I'm just to say, it really wasn't easy. It's probably one of the hardest things I've ever done. One that's so challenging to just sit there and concentrate all day long and really dig deep into your psyche. And one thing I'll say is that when you cultivate that state of equanimity, whether you're not reacting to the sensations in you, one really interesting, very fascinating thing that happens is when you don't react to the current sensations you're feeling, without even realizing it, without even forcing it, your past cravings and attachments come to the surface. In a sense, like your inner demons or your baggage, your past trauma or your insecurities, whatever, they come up from the past. And if they come up and you are able to observe them with this state of equanimity, of this state of neutrality, you'll actually find that they just kind of like, they just leave you. Like they don't really hold that much power over you anymore. And so one thing I felt after this was actually, I felt so light that I wasn't carrying all these burdens in my shoulder, that I've been carrying since childhood, that I had no idea that I was carrying, right? That I've come to terms with a lot of these experiences and I'm just ready to move on. And I realize that things come and go, the impermanence. So definitely one of the most transformative experiences of my life. And they recommend, if you're really, really interested in keeping this up, you have to do daily meditation in the morning and evening. I've so far been able to keep that up. And they recommend you go back each year, which I think I would like to do. I told my mom about it, and she's going in February. She was really interested and she wants to go. So that's good.
We'll decide if we're going to give you the time off. Jet, welcome back.
Thank you.
And if you'd like to know more about it, there are links under the video, and here's the website you can go to. Jet, good luck and thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim.
That's another Thaiger story. Thanks for watching.